Have you ever heard of the invisible disability? Now, if you have a brain injury, I can't even talk now. I'm sure you've heard this. Welcome to my channel, y'all. I am Astra, and this is Astra's Brain Injury. Thank you for coming by to see what it is I'll be talking about. Now, when I, for before I go into the when I, for all y'all who is new, my brain injury began when I had my MVA back in November of 2014. And life for me changed. I can't even say it did a 360, a 180. It just did I don't know what it did. But everything changed for me. Now, I can tell y'all, because I worked for the government, I was, when I was on my sick leave, my doctor was doing my sick leave, I was unaware that I was not going to be able to go back to work. I was unaware that, what I understood and knew so far was as bad as it was. I didn't know that. And so, we hear the terms of classified, declassified, and things like this. Now, when I was told, I said, you ain't going back to work. I was like, what? What you talking about, Willis? I was at a loss for everything, because my life as I knew completely went on its own tangent. I was like, where you going? Matter of fact, I didn't even understand or even know of where you going. All I just knew, boom, it, just boofed in the door, and here it was, my brain injury. And so I say the invisible disability because, I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm not walking with a walker or anything like this. So they look at me and they're gonna be like, oh, okay, everything's fine. But they don't know I've got a brain injury. Now, in this present time in my life, I am more animated. Before I was not. I really was not animated. I remember, I'll give you this. I remember before I was telling my chiropractor. I was telling my chiropractor a joke. And, I heard this joke years ago. And the joke is this. 2 peanuts were sitting on a bench in the park, and one got assaulted. And I was like, it seemed like every time I went to see him, I would tell him this joke. And he's like, he hears it. I'm cracking up because I think it's cute. He got assaulted, so put on some salt on him. And so I was like telling him this joke, not realizing I just saw him 2 days ago, and I told him this joke already. I saw him the week prior, and I told him this joke. And, he would tell me, he's like, after you told me this joke already, I think you told me this joke already. I'm like, what you talking about, Willis? And again, I say, even though this has been, deemed a disability, because, memory issues, visual issues, physical issues, mental, whatever, all of these different categories that I fell under as a disability. Now, you can't see it, you can't touch it, be like, oh, I see your disability. I don't come across as, oh, she's got a brain injury. But back then, when I could not um, walk properly, I had to learn how to walk again. It's like my hips and everything was out of alignment. My everything was out of alignment. My brains was not communicating properly with my extremities and say, oh, she wants to get up now. Let's help her get up. Or she wants to go and get some water and put it to her mouth. Or you know what? She needs to go to the washroom. All of these different things was not working. And so it's invisible to someone who is looking on. You know, they'll see me walking, and I was walking so because the grocery cart, was my walker. Now I'm sure I've said I'm 5'8.5", and you know when my little one, because when we got into this accident, he was just a year and months, and he was a baby. So in his mind, even though he knew mommy used to do all of these different things with him, to his recollection, all he's ever known, mommy has a brain injury. Because when you're a year, what are you really remembering at a year and months? Not a whole lot. But this now, all he's ever known, is mommy has a brain injury. And when my grandmother was alive, she's 4'11", so I'm taller than my grandmother, and he would bring her cane to me and tell me, here, mommy, use this, and he's showing me little how to use the cane, and how to use the walker. He's showing me how to do these things, and the thing is, as I go back to say, this invisible disability, you don't see it, but yet you have it. Others don't see it, and yet you live with it every moment of the day. There's not a day that goes by that you're not living with this, and I was completely at a loss because, I've been working since I've been yay, and I love working. I enjoy getting up and, you got something to do. I don't like being, I'm gonna sit around the house all day. What? No, I, am unable to do that kind of a thing. Yes, we all have our, I just want to sit back and just relax a bit and just enjoy my day. I'm good. After that, I'm good. I need to get up and do something. That sit down, never said get up mentality, I don't have, I truly believe in. And so going back again to say this invisible disability, I now got classified, and my classification now is invisible disability or disability, however you want to term it. But now I fall under the scope of being disabled, and I'm like, sweet Jesus. And when I was told, Astra, you're not going back to work again, I was like, what you talking about, Willis? Because I enjoy, getting up, going about my business, doing all what I need to do throughout my day. And when you have worked and you've worked for so long, you stop and you think, what am I gonna do? Now I am retired. I'm like, what? Yo, I got medically retired from my work. And I'm sure if y'all who are out there who has a brain injury and this has happened to you, it's a whole new chapter in your life that's been opened up. And you were like, sweet Jesus, what am I going to do now? Because you're at a loss. I was at a loss, y'all. I truly was at a loss because, as I said, I got up every day and I got about my business. You do your hair, do all your stuff, pick your outfit, you out to work you go. No longer was I doing that because I couldn't even simply just pick up my hands to say I'm going to comb my hair. I couldn't even do these simple things. And it wasn't a relief to hear, Astra, you're not going back to work again. It was not a relief. I, in my mind, was thinking, okay, I'm going to push, and I'm going to push some more. And the more I can do, the faster I can get to the end of the line and I'll be able to go back to work. Well, you know what? Never happened. I went back to work. I went to work twice after my MVA. First time I went with my sister and my niece because when the schools have their cookie drive and all that kind of stuff. So, I was taking in the orders and I was trying to talk. And I was stuttering so bad. I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth. And I'm, trying to talk to my supervisor. And she's seeing how I'm struggling. My sister is looking at me. My niece is looking at me. I'm crying. They're crying. We're all crying. And, my supervisor is going to put her hands on me and be like, it's okay, Astra. And that was the first time I went into work to go with them because, it was a secured location. So they could not get in without someone. And so I went just to, to see everybody, to help for the cookies for my niece. The last time that I went, and I really didn't even go in to the building. They actually came out and brought all my stuff down for me. I couldn't even go up to get it. I called and I'm like, I'm here, and they brought the things down. So that's the only time that I've been to work. Those 2 times after my accident, that was it. And it was really hard for me to say goodbye to what had become a part of my life. And so now that I've got this new classification, because I'm no longer classified as a worker, I'm now classified as medically retired. And so I'm a retiree without me wanting to be a retiree. Like, this was just, you just cram it down your throat. This is how it was for me. And so I've got a new chapter in my life that I have started after I've got you've got a brain injury. That was one. That's, another chapter. So we go I shouldn't say a chapter, but some chapters. And, we go further into the book of Astra's life. And I'm told, you're never going back to work again. I couldn't even handle watching the 2 screens that I had at work. I couldn't even look at these kind of things. And, y'all, it was a very hard thing to come to terms with, that I'm now going to be medically retired. I am disabled. I am now classified as a retiree, and all of these different things in my life. And I was being propelled to a place that I did not say, hey, I'm inviting you to this party of my life. Come on, and let's have a little party. No, I didn't invite it. My brain injury was just like, boof, down the door, kicked it down. And my brain injury is like, hey, how you doing, Astra? Matter of fact, it didn't even ask me how you doing. It's just like, I'm here. And guess what? Handle me now. And I'm like, I don't want to handle you. What do you mean handle you? I don't want to handle you. But my brain injury is like, well, guess what? Even though you don't want to, I am still going to be handled, whether you like it or not. And that was it for me, y'all. And it truly is an eye-opener when you see that your life that you was enjoying, things that you were loving, things that you were doing, now you get declassified from that, and you's now classified into something else. And you're like, what? I don't want to be here. But guess what? Whether you want to be here or not, you are here. And this, I had to come to terms with myself. And so, this new chapter in my life, we all talk about, I want a new chapter in my life. It's good and dandy, but when it gets forced on you, it's not. Like I said, I keep telling y'all, akin it to this. You're as a parent, and you got a toddler. You go to the washroom and you leave your toddler just, earshot where you can hear them. Or you may leave them with, stay by your grandmother, stay by your mommy, not mommy, stay by your daddy. And you go to the washroom. Next thing you know, boom, 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 boom. Mommy, what are you doing? Boom, 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 boom. Boof. Next thing you know, the door is flying open. And there's your baby standing right there. What are you doing? Well, I'm doing what you can't do for me. And there they are just standing. But like I said, when they ask you, what are you doing? And you say, I'm doing what you can't do for me, baby. And they're looking at you, what? What are you talking about, mommy? But, you can either try to find some humor. I had to, y'all. I had to try and find me even just a small little bit of humor. Find something for to look forward to find even a little bit of happiness. It wasn't easy. It really was not easy because, when I'm looking to see, oh my goodness, my job, poof, gone away. My family life, my married life, my everything, poof, is going not the way that I want it to go. And when you see that you have all of these different things in your life, it's not easy. And then you get loaded with, you're now disabled. It's a lot, y'all. Trust me, it was a lot for me. But, suffice it to say, it's been years. I'm over here where I'm at now. As I said, it's 11 years now since I had that MVA. And, I try to be positive. Okay, I'm disabled now. I've got that invisible disability. I am medically retired. Well, you know what? There's something maybe that I can offer. I shouldn't say maybe. There's something that I can offer that can be of a help to someone. I truly believe, y'all, that we go through things in life. My grandmother always used to say, if you think you have it bad, somebody else out there has it worse than you. Okay, well, all right now. So even though I'm going through this situation that I'm going, it seems like it is hell on earth. You know what? I would be like, okay, Well, thank you, Jesus. At least I'm alive. One. Um, Even though I could not talk properly and I was stuttering, okay, I've got speech pathology. This is going to give me a little bit of help. Okay, I'm going to see a neurologist. So I've got all of these different things that I can look forward to that can be of a help to me, that I could turn around and be like, oh, ho, ho, I can maybe help somebody else who could be going through this. And then they're like, what? Astra, I didn't know this. Or, you know what, Astra, have you tried da 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 da? You know, it's 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 a give and take kind of situation, because a brain injury is not easy. As I said, they don't look at you and be like, oh, you got a brain injury. They don't. They may hear that, you know, your speech might be a little delayed. They see that you're getting exhausted, you know, and then you have all of these different things, and they don't see it, but they may hear a little something. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy. But I can tell y'all, I believe as long as you got breath, there is hope. And so that mindset, y'all, that's what I keep saying. I had to change that mindset. But let me know, because I'm going to wrap this up now. Let me know if you've been in this situation, that you've been, you know, you have your brain injury, you've been off of work, and they tell you, oh, you're never going back to work again. Let me know if you've come across this, or you've gone to work because you said, oh, I just want to try and see if I can, you know, do work, and realize I can't do what I used to do before. And then they have to, all right, now, well, you know, you're going to be medically retired. Let me know. Let me know. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification bell, y'all. I'll definitely catch you in the next video. And before I leave, remember to journal. Journal, journal, journal. Journal, and journal some more. Okay? So I will definitely see you. With that, I'll tell you all, bye. Take care. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.